Before we get started on prepping the veggies, I've boiled a kettle with some water. So we're gonna make the soup first, and then we're gonna cook the noodles and the veggies in the soup. So if you want to get your pan, well, actually get your kettles on. So if I give you 2 or 3 minutes just to get your kettles on. So my mum's watching me upside down. Is that better? Maybe not. So it's giving me a neck ache anyway. Right, so the kettles are on. And we need to get started because otherwise this is going to roll over. And I know most of you kids, if you're joining in, I know we've got a few children that join in every week. I can guarantee you're hungry now because breakfast was quite a few hours ago. So what I'm going to do, I am going to get my saucepan on. Now I said in the description that you need a wok, but actually I'm not going to do that. We're not going to be cooking any meat or tofu today. Hopefully you've either got pre-cooked chicken or pre-cooked crab sticks or pre-cooked ham or whatever else you're using. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to add about 350 ml of boiling water to my saucepan, which is about that. And again, Chinese cookery, it's all about eye. I've been doing this quite a long time now, so I've got a rough idea of what something looks like without having to measure it. To that, I'm going to add a stock cube. Now, if you've got the Knorr fresh stock cubes, you know, the fresh ones, they're really nice. So if you've got a good chicken stock that you've made, you can use that. I'm going to use a good old OXO veggie stock cube. Now, have a look at that. So all I've done, I've opened up the sides. You know, whenever you peel an OXO cube and then you get it all over your fingers and you get really sticky. So I saw this on the internet and I've used it ever since. So all I've done with my stock cube is I've opened up the side, so it looks like, if you like Star Wars, I suppose it looks like a cross-wing fighter, a fat one. What I'm going to do now, carefully, I'm just going to squeeze the OXO cube between my thumb and and fingers, just breaking it up in the metal package. Try not to squeeze too hard because I don't want to pierce the package. And I've now got a stock powder. So I'm just going to take the edge of this stock powder and I can just tip that into my soup or my water without getting all sticky fingers. So because my water was boiling, I'm up to the boil already. So I'm just going to turn this down ever so slightly. I'll switch it off in my case. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's turned down. And I put that there. Turn the music down. Okay, so just while you're waiting for your stock to come up to the boil, I'm just going to run through the ingredients that I'm going to be using for this recipe, okay? I've got 2 soft-boiled eggs, or hopefully they're soft. I boiled them for about 8 or 9 minutes earlier and then ran them under cold water. I've not peeled them yet, so I'm hoping they're going to be a little bit gooey still in the middle. I have some lettuce leaf, and this is just iceberg lettuce, so some lettuce leaf. I have some ginger. Now, if you don't have fresh ginger, you can use ginger powder. Obviously, I've got my crab sticks, because that's going to be the protein with the egg. I've got some bean sprouts. I managed to get some bean sprouts in the supermarket yesterday, so I've got some bean sprouts. They are pre-washed, but I've just ran this under cold water this morning again, and just give them another bit of a wash off. For the noodles, I'm using a dried ramen noodle nest, but you can use straight to wok noodles. It doesn't matter if it's egg, rice, wheat noodle, whatever you've got. Okay, my dad actually he does like a macaroni, so he uses macaroni pasta and he cooks that off and then he adds it to the soup, so you get like a macaroni soup, kind of like noodle dish. Okay, that's all noodles is, you know, it's just pasta, isn't it? It's a Chinese version of pasta. I've got some garlic granules, I've got some light soy sauce for the seasoning, I have some sesame oil which is going to go in at the end. I have a little bit of white pepper because I like a little bit of background heat. But again, if you don't like that heat, you can leave this out. And the last thing I have is some salt. So now what I've got to try and do is make this stock cube taste amazing. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a couple of slices of ginger. So just using my trusty knife here, I'm going to take 3 slithers of ginger. I don't need to do anything with it. If you're using ginger powder, you can put that in now, and I'd use probably start off with half a teaspoon and then try it. Again, this offers that aromatic flavour and a little bit of heat, because ginger is quite, the word, it's not hot, but it's got a little bit of heat there anyway. So I'm just going to add the ginger into my stock. To that, I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of my garlic powder. If you've got garlic salt, try it before you add the salt in a second. These are just garlic granules. So I'm going to add about half a teaspoon, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay. And then I'm going to add about half a tablespoon of soy sauce. So in that goes. And then for me personally, I'm going to add a pinch of white pepper, which is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. So in that goes. More. Just make sure it comes up to the boil. I'm going to use my tongs just to give it a stir. And then with my spoon, I'm just going to give it a quick taste. Now I think it needs a little bit of salt. So I'm just going to add a pinch of salt, because also I didn't want to season it too early because I need to see how salty the stock cube is going to be. So in goes a good pinch of salt. I'll give that another mix. And then I'm just going to... Okay, no, I think that's about right now. And that's going to get even better as we start putting the veggies through it. Okay, now if you're using Chinese leaf, cabbages, carrots or anything else, we need to prep them first. So if you're chopping cabbage leaves or the iceberg lettuce leaves, I've got my leaves here, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll them into a loose cigar. Okay, so you get like a little cylinder even. And then with that, I'm just going to chop it, and I'm going to chop it about 1 centimetre in depth or in width, just to give me some nice strings of lettuce. Okay, that can go to one side. Now if you're using ham or pre-cooked chicken or the crab sticks, again, just keeping it all the same lengthways, so strips. I'm going to chop this just into a few strips. And then I have my strips of crab stick. Bean sprouts are already ready because I've washed those already. I could actually peel my soft boiled eggs. So we'll just peel these. I tried that little trick the other day where you get a soft boiled egg or a boiled egg and you put it in a jar with some water and you shake it. The whole thing fell apart, it didn't work. Well, for me, I think I shook it maybe a little bit too hard. So anyways, so there's one egg peeled. Okay, so if you're using your fresh noodles, they only take about 30 seconds to cook. This is going to take about 2 minutes. So I'm just going to add this now to my stock. And I'm just going to allow that to soften. Now if you've got tongs, use your tongs. I'm using my chopsticks. The bean sprouts and the carrots and anything else that you're cooking, mushrooms, you only literally need to blanch those for about 20-30 seconds. Right, so my noodles have started to soften. Now again, I like my noodles quite bony. So you can see now that, look, see how they've just softened? But they're still sticking together ever so slightly. Now because I'm going to do my veggies now, I'm going to get my veggies in now because I don't want it to overcook. So bean sprouts first of all, in there you go. So that's the bean sprouts. Then I'm going to add my crab sticks. And we'll just give that a really quick stir. And this only takes about 20-30 seconds. For the last 5-6 seconds, I'm going to add my lettuce. So I'm just going to let that come back up to the boil. And then I'm going to take my lettuce, and I'm going to add my lettuce, and just let that ever so slightly wilt. That's that done. So switch it off, get your sesame oil, add a teaspoon of sesame oil, or well, half a teaspoon actually, because there's only one portion in here. Then I'm going to take my tongs, and I'm going to put my noodles in the bottom of the bowl. Now you could literally pour this straight in, but I want to try and make this look pretty for you guys. So you see I've got my lettuce and my bean sprouts. I'm going to take my boiled egg. I'm going to chop that and put that on top. And then I'm going to take some of this soup. And I'm just going to pour the soup over the top. And there we have it, guys. One very, very easy ramen noodle bowl with crab stick, lettuce, bean sprouts and a boiled egg. Hope you enjoy your lunch. Don't forget, I'm back on at 6:30 tonight doing a king prawn and tomato. Sorry about the noise. I shall see you later, guys. Have a good day. Stay home, stay safe, stay well. I'm just going to come around and switch off.